So JP Morgan has this idea that they wanted to add $1 billion of value, and then they upgraded it to $1.5 billion this year because of the work they're doing in AI. Do you have a similar goal in-house that you're working on?
Well, maybe there's one less zero on some of these numbers,
sure.
Us versus them size-wise, but clearly we have a similar product called Cash Flow Essentials, which helps small business forecast their cash flows, and we're rolling that out this year, and we have great expectations for it.
You come to town 3 years after to basically getting your tech vertical set up through JMP. Is there one clear ambition you have for this week that you think, in the conversations you'll have? And I know these kinds of events, there's a bit of deal making that goes on in the corridors as well.
Absolutely. So we have well over 100 companies presenting, both private companies and public companies. We have several hundred investors attending. So there's a lot of buzz about this conference. And I think it's staged at a very good time where the markets are starting to look more promising. We're seeing some green shoots around IPOs, which is terrific. And I think just looking at the U.S. economy and how tech is powering all industries and how AI has huge potential going forward, it's a really good time to have people get together and exchange their thoughts on that.
Let's jump in on the IPO situation then. Reddit is an important one for you. It's one that we're talking a lot about on the show at the moment. Just explain how that came about.
Well, I think we had a long relationship with them, and so we're going to be one of the co-managers on the transaction. And so they haven't filed yet, but I think there's a huge amount of interest. It's a great company.
Let's talk about whether or not that then spurs more green shoots, as you said. You can't have just one deal for green shoots in plural. Are we likely to see a reopening? Because at the end of 2023, look, Arm now really outperforming where it originally listed at, but Instacart queries over that one. Klaviyo has done well, but we all thought this was the reopening, and then it shut again.
Yeah, it's required some patience the last couple of years. So when we acquired JMP, it was the fourth quarter of 21, and the markets were red hot at that point. And so, as rates went up and the economy wobbled a little bit, I think that basically cut the interest a little bit in IPOs. But again, I think this year is the year when we're going to see a breakthrough.
Do the breakthroughs have to talk up artificial intelligence, the data that can be leaned on, for example, within Reddit, the areas of expertise that they're in different adjacent industry groups?
I think it can be broad. I think AI is certainly top of mind for the market, but there's plenty of great companies around security, different technology services that I think also are going to see a lot of growth. So that's what the market ultimately focuses on, is what's the growth trajectory. And so I think that extends beyond just AI.
And let's talk about your growth trajectory with Citizens Financial and ultimately how the market is supporting other regional lenders and banks such as yourself, because it is but a year almost ago that we were in the crux of the anxiety when it came to regional lenders here in the United States, the explosion of Silicon Valley Bank, and ultimately some of the other spillover effects. You yourself managed to weather that storm, had different business models in place, but your share price is still under pressure, and there's still anxiety around commercial real estate, for example, which we see front and center with New York Community Bank Corp. How are you seeing love, green shoots, appreciation of your business at the moment?
Yeah, so I think last year was a challenging year for sure with the idiosyncratic bank failures. Things have stabilized since then. Certainly, the deposit position is very strong. We have a very strong capital position. So last year, we spent a lot of time focused on defense and making sure our balance sheet was solid, put away plenty of reserves for areas like real estate, which we think those losses will be manageable for us. But, we always talk about you can't just win playing defense. You got to play offense as well. So we have some great initiatives. We have the Citizens Private Bank, where we lifted out a bunch of folks from JP Morgan. We're committed to this region here in Northern California. We have JMP, and now we came in over the top with the private bank, world-class, best-in-breed bankers. So we're connected to the whole innovation economy, the VC world, the PE world, all the folks who are creating lots of wealth here. So excited by that. We also have a big effort going on in New York, where we had acquired 2 bank franchises a couple years back, and we're making great inroads in that New York market. And then I would say the third thing that we're high on is just our ability to serve private capital around the country. So we've built out an M&A capability sponsor coverage capability, and so we're really anticipating when private capital really kicks in. I think you'll start to see more deal flow in PE. Certainly our pipelines are looking very strong for the year.
The lesson that I learned out of what happened a year ago with Silicon Valley Bank is how concentrated the access to working capital was for technology companies, SMEs essentially. Yeah. What was your big takeaway? What was the one lesson or permanent change of the last 12 months resulting from that saga?
Well, I think people were a bit envious about how Silicon Valley Bank had locked in a lot of that customer base, and First Republic also. So now the demise of both of those banks creates a real opportunity for folks. There's a void there, and so it's all about talent, and it's about commitment. It's about strength of offerings and capabilities, and so we're marching right in to help fill that void.